Okay, so in the previous class we have gone through the syllabus, like what is the content we will be going with this course. So basically just we will see an overview, like what we have seen in the last class. So the syllabus is having 5 units. So first unit is basically about semiconductor physics. Okay, so different concepts of semiconductor physics we will be dealing with. In the second unit, we will be going with the diodes. What is the characteristics of diode? And then different applications of diode. So where these diodes are going to be used, so we will see that. So in that applications, there are different applications like rectifier, clipper and clamper. Okay, so there are different applications we will be going with. So in unit third, we will be going with the transistors. Okay, so in the transistors, we will see the BJT, introduction to JFET, and then introduction to MOSFET. So here these topics are basically the introduction only. So as the course is basic electronic, so just we will be introducing these topics, and the advanced version we will see into the next, you can say the content will be in the next syllabus or next course that you will be going with. Okay, that will be an advanced version of these devices. Okay, so in the unit fourth, we will be seeing the operational amplifiers. Okay, so similar, its characteristics, that will be ideal and non-ideal, like ideal and practical characteristics, and then again the applications of operational amplifier. Okay, the fifth unit, in that we will introduce the digital electronics. Okay, so here it will be like introduction to digital electronics. Okay, so this will be an you can say flow through which we will be going with the content in this course, and different books. So basically some reference books are there. So the first will be your Millman and Halkias. This is basically for the first unit. So for the device physics, or you can say the semiconductor device physics, that we will be dealing with this book, Millman and Halkias. The next, all the contents we can see by Ballstead book. So unit second, third, and fourth will be from Ballstead book, and the fifth unit will be from Morris Menu. Okay, so this is your course content, and we will follow this structure. So now we will start the first unit. So the introduction to basically the device physics. Okay, so in that we will see basically the energy bands in crystals. Okay, so here we start with this topic. We will be starting with different concepts that you will be needing or you will be requiring throughout this course. So like some basic concepts that we will be going through again and again. So it is just an overview, you can say, to semiconductor devices and how the charge is represented and how the what is potential and how electric field is there. So these concepts we will be going with this class. Okay, so here basically the charge of electron that we have in the numerical questions and even the discussions also we will be going with. So the charge of electron that we have is 1.60 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Okay, so here this is the charge one electron is having that much of charge available with it. Okay, so basic device physics that we will be going is basically we are going to have like how these devices can be used for further applications into circuits. Okay, so basic operation is like once we are going to have a device that its electrical characteristics need to be explored. Okay, so basically in electrical characteristics we consist of the current, like how the current is represented. Okay, so basically if we are going to have a current, so the current is considered as like rate of change of charge, or you can call it the current will be represented by this. Okay, so or we can see like if one electron is having that much of charge. Okay, so if we represent like one coulomb or one charge, one coulomb is having how much of electrons, so that will be like inverse of this. Okay, so 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Okay, so if we represent this, we can see like it is coming out to be 6 into 10 power 80. So like one coulomb of charge is having that much of electrons. Okay, but the current, like 1 ampere of current is there. If we want to represent a current, so that 1 ampere of current is equals to 1 coulomb of charge per second. So if this is 1 coulomb of charge per second is being represented as 1 ampere, so in current, in terms of current, if we represent it like 1 ampere of current will be similar to like 1 coulomb of charge per second, or if we represent this in terms of electrons, so it will be like 6 into 10 power of 18 electrons per second. Okay, we can represent similar to that. Okay, like if 1 ampere of current is flowing, that means that much of electrons are moving one in 1 second. Okay, so this is a very large value. So this is basically going to represent the current. Okay, so that much of complexity we need to understand, like how these electrons are basically going to deal with the current flow. Okay, so we will see that concept. Okay, and also some points we need to see, like if we want to find out uh, the mass of an atom. Okay, so the mass of an atom is basically represented in terms of the mass of an oxygen atom. Okay, so an oxygen atom is having like atomic weight if we consider, so it is a 16 we call it. So atomic weight of oxygen we consider like 16 is there. Okay, so in terms of like if we want to find out atomic weight of any, you can say, uh, element that is having atomic number that is 1 or unity, so atomic weight of any you can say atomic of any atom with unity as the atomic with the uh, atomic weight, or we can call it atomic mass of an atom with atomic weight unity. So atomic weight is unity. In that case, that will be 1 by 16th of the oxygen atomic weight, that is coming out to be 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. Like if we want to find out the mass of an atom in kgs, then we can just multiply its atomic weight into the this value. So from there we can get the mass of the atom. So basically the mass of any atom in kg, we can find it out by using what is the atomic weight multiplied by 1.66 into 10 power minus, sorry, into 10 power minus 7 27 kgs. Okay, so this is how we can find out the atomic mass of any atom. Now we will see what is field intensity. Okay, so field intensity is like if any atom is there, okay, and it is having a unity positive charge, then it will be representing a force. Okay, so that positive charge will be experiencing a force. That force will be experienced only if it is present in a electric field. So that force will basically experienced on a positive charge when it is placed in a magnetic field, then placed in an electric field, sorry, then that force will be consist of field intensity. That means if we are having a force, we are experiencing a force. So here uh, uh, basically a force on a positive charge, we can represent force on a positive charge in an electric field that is represented by like E at any point, then that force will be having the relation like it will be like Q into E. So if this force is there, so this force will be represented by the field intensity. So that is Q multiplied by E. So here we know like this Q into E, and this force will be equals to the mass of the charge particle into the dv by dt. So this v is basically the velocity of the charge particle. So if a positive charge is placed into the electric field, then it will be experiencing some force. So that force will be having the relation like it will be depending on the electric field, or it will be depending on the mass of the charge particle and the velocity. Okay, and here this E basically represents the electric field, that is in terms of volt per meter. Okay, so this is your field intensity. The next point that we will be seeing, like what is a potential is there. So in this uh, topic we will be dealing with like potential. We will be going through this concept again and again, so we need to know like what is a potential is there. So potential is basically, suppose two charged particles are there, it is A and B, two uh, points are there, and it is having, like it is at a positive charge, we need to transfer from A to B. Suppose we want to move a positive charge from A to B, then uh, whatever the work need to be done to move the positive charge particle from A to B, that will be your potential. Okay, so potential is basically, suppose we want to know the potential at B, then the potential at point B with respect to point A is equals to the work done. Basically this will be equals to the work done against the field. So these 2 points are in electric field, so whatever work done need to be done to move the positive charge from A point to B, that will be equals to your potential. Okay, so it will be the potential at point B with respect to A will be the work done against the field from taking a positive charge from point A to B. So if we are taking a positive charge from A to B in the presence of a field, then that work done will be equals to the potential at point B with respect to A. Okay, so if we find out the potential, so it is like V, that is in volts. Okay, so that is not a velocity, that is a volt, that is potential. Okay, so that will be given by like an integration of the electric field. So electric field integration is there. So here we are moving from location x0 to, suppose this location is x. Okay, so we are moving from x0 to x. So whatever work done will be done with respect to the electric field from moving a positive charge from A to B, that will be your potential. Okay, so this is the relation how we need to find out the potential. And by differentiating this equation, if we differentiate this equation, we will be getting like dv divided by dx will be equals to minus E, or we can say like electric field is equals to minus dv by dx. Okay, so here electric field is basically such that it is, first of all, we are moving from A to B. That means this will be at a lower potential and this will be at higher potential. Okay, so here basically this equation here negative represents like here the electric field is basically from higher potential to lower potential. So here electric field is from higher potential to so if electric field is from higher potential to lower potential, that means electric field direction will be from B to A. Okay, so that will be at higher potential and that will be at lower potential. Okay, so this is all about the potential. What is a potential? Next we will see like the potential energy. So potential energy represented by U. So this potential energy is basically equals to the potential multiplied by a charge Q. Okay, so here U will be equals to Q multiplied by V. Okay, so this is in case of the charge is positive. If the charge is negative, then the potential energy will be like minus Q into V. This will be for negative charge. Okay, so always we know like the law of conservation of energy says that the total energy, which is the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy, that will remain constant. Okay, so here if we represent like the total energy W will be a constant and that W will be kinetic energy plus potential energy. So this statement is considered as the law of conservation of energy.
हेलो हेलो सर
Yes, yes.
सर दीपक सर बहुत थोड़ा बढ़ा दी थोड़ा बोले बोलिए थोड़ा मिक्सअप करके पढ़ाइए सर
हेलो।
हेलो सर
हाँ हाँ हाँ, बताओ।
सर मैं कह रहा हूँ सर सर थोड़ा हिंदी में सर पढ़ाए कि सर थोड़ा मिक्सअप करके पढ़ाए कि सर टोटल समझ नहीं
ओके
आती
ओके
इतना सर
ओके ओके ओके, ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है, ओके।
ओके सर थैंक यू सर
ओके, थैंक यू। सो हियर so law of conservation of energy says that kinetic energy plus energy potential energy will be always constant. That means जो भी energy का form है, that is law of conservation of energy says like kinetic energy and potential energy will be a constant, so that will be your law of conservation of energy. Okay, so this is all about the basic points. So before moving to the semiconductor, we will be seeing like what is some other terms. So some other terms we can see. So most frequently we will be going with the some terms. So that terms we need to see. So that one term is called thermal voltage. So even if we are going to deal with diodes or different MOSFETs, this thermal voltage जो है मोस्ट फ्रिक्वेंटली यूज होता है टर्म डिफरेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए. ओके, सो हियर द थर्मल वोल्टेज इज रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय VT. That VT is given by kT by q. So kT by q, this is first of all ये thermal voltage है. So the voltage is voltage है, that means इसका unit क्या होगा, volt. Okay, so Vt is kT by q, kT by q. That means if we put the value of k here, k is your Boltzmann constant. And Boltzmann constant की value क्या होती है? So this Boltzmann constant is given by like represented by k dash. So Boltzmann constant की value 1.3 k to 1 into 10 power minus 23 joules per degree Kelvin. Okay, so if I put the value of q and k, q is 1.6 into 19 coulomb, so that will be like Vt is given out to be T divided by 11,600. Okay, so this will be your relation. So that means we can see, so Vt is directly proportional to temperature. That means if temperature is increasing, the Vt value will also be increasing. Okay, so at room temperature पे so room temperature is 300 degree Kelvin. Okay, so at that temperature that Vt value, that is thermal voltage की value जो होती है, that is equals to around 26 millivolt. Okay, so sometimes even in objective questions also this value can be asked, or it can be asked like what is the relation of Vt with respect to the thermal the temperature. Okay, so this is your thermal voltage. Okay,
So
thermal voltage,
yes,
थर्मल वोल्टेज केवल डिफाइन होगा या मटेरियल के लिए?
sorry, thermal voltage temperature पे and
सर थर्मल वोल्टेज
yes,
के लिए डिफाइन होगा या सभी मटेरियल के लिए डिफाइन होगा?
ये सभी मटेरियल के लिए डिफाइंड होगा. थर्मल वोल्टेज जो होगा सभी मटेरियल्स के लिए डिफाइंड होगा. होता क्या है कि कोई भी करंट का इक्वेशन है, सपोज हम कोई भी मटेरियल है, अगर हम डायोड अगर बनाए हुए हैं, अगर वो डायोड का जो करंट का रिलेशन होता है उसमें ये थर्मल वोल्टेज का रिलेशन आता है. ठीक है, वो थर्मल वोल्टेज will be consisting of the part into the expression of current. Okay, or some relation between the voltage and current is there, so that voltage and current relation of a device will be consisting of this term. Okay, that means it is basically any device is there, whatever its input and output characteristics are there, that will be defined by a temperature variation. So on that temperature variation will be represented in terms of thermal voltage. Okay, so that relation is basically represented by the Vt term. Okay, so instead of directly representing the temperature, we use Vt as the temperature variation relation in any device input and output characteristics. Okay, so जब भी हम कोई भी डिवाइस का इनपुट आउटपुट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे तो वहां पे थर्मल वोल्टेज को हम यूज करेंगे एज अ टेम्परेचर वेरिएशन रिलेशन. ओके, सो जहां भी टेम्परेचर का इफेक्ट रहेगा देयर विल बी अ Vt रिलेशन विल बी देयर. ओके, सो वो हम आगे अगर पढ़ेंगे उसमें एक्सप्रेशंस में वहां पे हमें क्लियर हो जाएगा. ठीक है,
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर.
okay, thank you. So the next point also that will be most frequently used is mobility. It is represented by mu. So basically mobility क्या करता है? So mobility basically denotes like how fast the electrons are or we can call it the charge carriers. So the particles that basically constitute a current, like a moving charge. So how fast the moving charge is moving from one place to another into a element, or you can say a material. Okay, so what is the charge carrier movement and how fast it is, that will be represented by the mobility. So basically mobility represents like how fast uh, a charge carrier how fast a charge carrier in material is moving from one place to another. Okay, so here the mobility is one of the parameters we will be using to represent the you can say efficiency of a current flow, or the efficiency of a device that is working. Okay, so this mobility is basically has a relation with the drift velocity and the electric field. So basically this mu is represented by like the ratio of drift velocity divided by the field intensity. So the field intensity, that is called electric field or field intensity, we can call it. So this represents the mobility, or we can represent like it is like Vd, drift velocity is represented by Vd divided by the electric field. Okay, so electric field so it is drift velocity, so its unit will be meter per second, and the electric field is there. So the electric field, like electric field is given by minus dv by d x, we have seen in the previous slides. Okay, so here v is volt per meter. Okay, so electric field intensity will be your field intensity will be volt per meter. Okay, so overall we can call that the unit of mobility will be meter square. So here meter per second divided by Vm. So it is meter square divided by volt second. Okay, so this is the unit of mobility. So sometimes in the objectives this unit is asked like what is the unit of mobility, so you can have the overview to like how it is represented. If you are not have the exact you don't remember this value or this unit, then you can derive it from the expression like drift velocity divided by field intensity. So you can derive that also, but sometimes it can be asked in the object type questions. Okay, so here in case of semiconductor, we basically have two different type of semiconductors that we go with. So one is like germanium is there, another one is silicon. Okay, so this is germanium and silicon. So we will be saying like what is the mobility in case of germanium and in case of silicon. So basically this mobility is different for electron and mobility is different for holes. So basically the charge carriers here we have seen written like the charge carriers. So these charge carriers can be of either electron or holes. Okay. So this in semiconductor, the charge carriers are basically consist of the holes and electrons. So what is the mobility of holes and what is the mobility of electrons? We will be seeing. So these values are fixed for germanium and silicon. So if any semiconductor device is there, it is made up of germanium, then the mobility of electrons in that germanium will be constant, or the mobility of holes in that germanium based device will be a constant. So here, so mobility is represented by mu. Okay, so if it is hole mobility, so we will be writing mu p. So this is mobility of hole. Similarly, if we want to have the mobility of electrons, so we write mu n. So this is mobility of electron. Okay, so in case of germanium, the mu p value is given out to be 1800 centimeter square per volt second. And similarly, the mobility of electrons in case of germanium is given out 3800 centimeter square per volt second. Similarly, the mobility of holes in silicon is given out to be 500 centimeter square per volt second. And similarly, the mobility of uh, electrons in silicon is given out to be 1300, that is 1300 centimeter square per volt second. Okay, so from this table we can conclude like the mobility of holes in silicon is like it is 500 centimeter square per volt second, and in case of germanium it is 1800. So we can see a rough you can say a relation like the mobility of holes in germanium is around 4 times, so 4 times that of the mobility of holes in silicon. And similarly, the mobility of electrons in germanium is around 3 times the mobility of electrons in silicon. So that means we can have the relation like it is having the relation it is around 3 times, and it is having around 4 times. Okay, so this is a rough idea you can remember. So that means if any device, suppose we have fabricated a device, okay, and that device is made of germanium. Okay, so one germanium device is there, another one is silicon device. So as the mobility of germanium is high, that means the mobility of device that is made of germanium will be having high. So if the mobility is high in case of germanium device, that means it will be having faster mode of operation than the silicon device. Because in silicon device, if the mobility is low or mobility is small, that means the operation of this silicon based device will be slow with respect to the germanium based device. So from here we have seen like the mobility represents like how fast a charge carrier, that is electron or holes in a material, is moving from one place to another. So how the basically the movement of charge carrier represented by the mobility. So if the mobility is high, that means the device will be operating faster than the another one. Okay, so here germanium will be operating faster than the silicon. Okay, so in terms of the speed operation, so there are some trade-off between germanium and silicon. So if a device is being formed by using germanium or silicon, so based on its properties, so there are some other properties that dominates silicon. So and in some properties germanium is dominated. So based on the requirement, we will be choosing which type of material we will be using for device fabrication. So yeah, so if we want a faster operation, definitely we can choose the germanium. But this, the property of silicon is like, silicon is having higher band gap. So here in the materials, we will be seeing like what is a band gap is there, how this band gap affect the operation of the device. Okay, so here silicon is having higher band gap. Okay, so if it is having higher band gap, it can withstand higher temperature. So this can have high temperature, it can withstand high temperature. Okay, but it will, in case of germanium, it is having high mobility, or we can say faster. So each type of device is having its own advantages and disadvantages. So based on the requirement of our application, we can choose any of the device. But most frequently, silicon devices are used. Why? Because it can have the ability to withstand high temperature. Okay, that means these devices, silicon-based devices, can be operating perfectly even if we have applied higher temperature. Okay, so some of the properties we will be seeing. So what are the different properties of these devices? Okay, so
Sir, hello.
yes,
Sir, why mobility of holes is less than mobility of electron?
so basically the mobility of holes and electrons, if we consider the uh, in the device physics. Okay, so if we consider the holes and electrons, so basically what happens in case of like holes are, suppose a material is there, some electrons are there. Okay, so basically this movement of electron, suppose an electron is moving from the structure. Okay, electron is moving from the structure, then once electron is moving, it is negatively charged. Once it is moving from the you can say its position, it will be creating a vacant space. So that vacant space is basically represented by a hole. Okay, so in case of like movement, if we consider, so here basically this uh, movement will also be depending on their atomic mass. Okay, so atomic mass in case of uh, electrons and holes, so holes are basically consist of positive charge. Okay, so once electrons is moving, it will be generating a space. So this space is considered as hole, and this is like a positive charge. Okay, so positive charge is having, you can say, higher mass than the electron. Okay, so this positive charge is consist of higher mass. So once it is having higher mass, its mobility is basically you can say uh, is smaller than the electron. So that can be one of the reason, like how the mobility of holes can be smaller than the mobility of electrons basically. Okay, so here like it is a movement of charged particles. Okay, so this positive and negative charge particles are moving, so movement will be definitely depending on the atomic mass, or whatever its weight is there. If it is having higher weight, it will be, its movement will be small, as you can say, smaller. Okay, so that concept we can have. to find like the holes will be having a smaller mobility. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So next we will see the properties of germanium and silicon. Okay. So in the properties of germanium and silicon, this is just an uh, overview. Okay. So in the later part, we will be discussing one by one, like what is the uh, internal physics in these type of devices are there. Devices are in concept materials. What is the germanium is there? How the atoms are represented in germanium and silicon, and how these are showing that type these different properties. So we will represent one by one. Okay. So here we can see like it is germanium. Okay. And silicon. So some properties we will be depicting here. So that are the basic properties. So in case of germanium, we know it is having higher you can say mobility. So as germanium is having higher mobility, that means its conductivity will be higher. Okay. That means the ability to conduct will be higher in case of germanium than the silicon. Okay. So here you can see like it is having silicon will be having lower conductivity. So also in case of silicon, we can see like it is suitable for handling higher temperature. If it is suitable for handling higher temperature, that means these silicon based devices can be used for high voltage operations. So if we are going to use high voltage operation, then we can use the silicon based devices. So okay, so it is basically we can write like it is more suitable for high voltage or high power operations, because it can withstand higher temperature. So one of the advantages is there. Okay. Similarly, in germanium, it is more suitable for low power operation. Operations, or we can call it applications. Okay. Silicon is like it is slow. Okay. But it can be used for, you can say, switching applications. It can be used for switching applications. But there are some disadvantages also. Some false triggering is also obtained. But in case of germanium, it can be used for high frequency applications. In switching, this high frequency applications can be used in case of germanium is there. So high frequency means it is having less delay, or it is having faster operation. Then we can have the high frequency applications can be used on germanium based devices. Okay. So this is the introduction. Okay. So in the next class, basically we will see what is the energy bands and how these energy bands are formed and how the energy bands are going to affect the nature of a material. Basically, like an element is there, a silicon or germanium is there, or a metal insulator or a semiconductor, how these metals, semiconductor and insulators are identified based on the energy bands. Okay, so that energy bands, how these energy bands are formed, so we will see that part into the next class. Okay, if anyone is having any doubt, you can ask.
Sir, please add
Yes.
me on in MS Team, sir. I'm not in this MS Team, sir.
MS Team में नहीं हो क्या?
No, sir.
ठीक है, अपना ईमेल आईडी मुझे मैसेज कर दो. एक्चुअली मैंने जो है कोड सेंड किया हुआ है, वो कोड आप जो आपके बैचमेट्स हैं आप उनको सेंड कर दो, वो ऐड हो जाएंगे उसमें. मैंने कोड सेंड किया है, ठीक है? कोड्स
Yes,
मिला
sir.
उसमें? हाँ, सेम कोड्स
Sir,
आप
I'm
उनको से
not
आप
able to,
सेम
sir. Gmail में सर नहीं मिला था कोड मेरे को.
जीमेल पे नहीं, इसी टीम पे ही है. आप जो लोग ऐड हैं उनको मिल जाएगा. आप वैसे भी मुझे मैसेज कर दो, मैं वैसे भी कोड दे दूंगा. कोड जो है चैनल जो है जनरल चैनल जो है उसमें कोड पड़े हुए हैं, आप वहां से लेकर के आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हो.
ओके सर.
ठीक है. अब बाकी लोग भी जो ज्वाइन नहीं हुए हैं उनको भी बोलो कि आप ज्वाइन करें. मैं जो है सेटिंग कर दूंगा उसमें कि केवल कॉलेज की ईमेल आईडी से ही ज्वाइन कर सकते हो आप. ठीक है, तो आप सभी लोगों को बोल दो कि सभी लोग ज्वाइन कर लें वो चैनल. ठीक है,
सर थैंक यू सर.
अगर किसी को कोई डिफिकल्टी है आप मुझे मैसेज करो, मैं वो कोड दे दूंगा. ठीक है, आप उससे डायरेक्टली ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, ओके, थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.